Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Win Government Contract, the podcast powered by the Government Contractors Association. So good to see all of you here. If you are joining us live, good to see you again. Some of you are new for this podcast here. So if you're new, thanks for joining us. And if you're watching this on replay, whether it's on YouTube or any other of our channels, I'm glad that you're watching this here on replay as well. So today we got some really, really awesome things to share with you. We're going to do a very practical, we're going to take a practical strategy and we're going to talk about what is the best niche market to start, the best type of business to start so that you can get to contracts fast. And we're going to explore, is it a product-based business or is it a service-based business? And if you currently have a service-based business, how can you scale that? Or if you have a product-based business, how can you scale that? Or if you're, doesn't matter where you are, but of the two, which is better as a newer or existing company, which is better? And should you add or pivot to another one if you're already in one sector or not? So that's what we're going to be talking about: product versus service, and we're going to be talking about how to identify. But I'm going to share my screen. If you're joining us live, please put your company name and where you're joining us from. That gives me a little reference point in terms of who is part of our audience here. So let's go ahead and dive in. If you're new to this channel here, my name is Abraham Shion. I am the president and founder of the Government Contractors Association, and we're here to really support the small business community in the government contracting ecosystem. We've got lots of training programs. We have 2 to 3 classes every week. The live podcast is one of the things that we do as a value add to the community. And so today's topic is, let me share my screen and then we'll go over the agenda for the day. And then we're going to dive in. And this is all about practical things that you can actually do and research that you can do, actions that you can take. It's not necessarily just about concepts and theories, right? It's really about what you can do so that you can actually grow your company. So with that said, let me go ahead and move this out of the way a little bit. And we're going to talk about our agenda for the day here. So this is our agenda: how to quickly find a niche market, what industries are receiving what type of contracts, which industry is receiving the most money. We're talking about which is better to start, a service or product-based business, the pros and cons of a service business or the pros and cons of a product-based business, and then which option is easier to start. And we'll look at some examples. We're going to look at some real companies and benchmark after those companies. And then this way, based upon that, you can have a reference point. If I'm currently this type of business, how can I transition? Or if I am a newer business and trying to find a niche to expand into, which is the right one to start? So that's really what we're going to be talking about: how to find a niche market to enter into the government market. So let me go ahead and dive in. We're going to start off by going into one of your favorite websites, and I'm going to show you a few ways of how to identify which niche market. Now, if you stay to the end, we have a free giveaway. So stick around to the end. We have a free giveaway. We're going to be giving away this course here: how to win millions in government contract without having to write complex proposal. We've been giving out this course every single week. And so this course here we sell for $1,997, but as a participant today, you get it at no cost for one lucky person that stays to the very end. And in the course, we take you through the process of your mindset for success in the government market. We talk about opportunities. We talk about how big is the government market, their budget. So this course is it's a great course to really acclimate you very quickly into the government market. Even if you're a little bit more experienced or seasoned, this course is very, very powerful as well. So if you want to learn more about the course, I'm going to put this here in the chat. but we're going to be giving away this course to one lucky winner at the very end. So your favorite website, the way we're going to identify which niche. Now, you guys have heard, find a niche, get rich, right? Find a niche, get rich. So now, as you grow your company, you have to expand beyond a niche. The government buys things a little bit different. So as you expand your business, you have to expand to other and be more of a generalist. That's more of a long-term strategy. We're going to cover that some more at a different time. But today we're going to talk about how to find a niche so you can get rich. So USA Spending should be one of your favorite websites. And I'm going to show you how to use this here to help you find a niche. This website I'm going to put in the chat so you can use this here and get into it anytime. You come in here, you want to click on Start Searching Awards. Now, there's many different government databases out there. The USA Spending is one of the key websites that you want to get very comfortable with. Once I'm in, I want to go and check 1 year, one fiscal year. Now, fiscal year 2024 has not ended yet. So I'm just going to check 2023. And what I want to do is I want to find out how much did the government spend in my industry for 2023. For many of you, if you know what industry, or if you want me to use your company as an example, if you could put either your NAICS code into the chat or a keyword into the chat, and we'll start by using some of you who's joining us live, we'll start by using one of your companies as a example, your niche as an example here. So if you want us to use your niche, go ahead and put in the chat either keyword or your NAICS code. So I'm going to come down here. I'm going to go to North American Industry Classification System. We call it NAICS. Think of snakes, but remove the S in front of the N, and so it would be NAICS. So that's the ideal way to pronounce that there. So someone put laundry services. So I'm going to put in here laundry, and let's see what shows up. Someone put in their real estate, and so based upon this here, commercial, laundry, dry cleaning, and so forth, household laundry equipment. So we're not looking at manufacturing, right? We're looking at dry cleaning and laundry services. So we're going to look at this NAICS code, and we can look at, this is manufacturing. So we're not looking at manufacturing. We're looking at services. So we're going to start with this here. 812320 as one of our first industry to research. I'm going to hit submit. And what we're doing is we're looking at one whole year of how much contract was awarded to laundry services. Now, this NAICS code here is a little tricky. And the reason why it's a little tricky is this here. Sometimes they need laundry services, but they don't categorize it as laundry services. They might categorize it as maintenance. They call it O&M, right? Operations, base operations and maintenance. So they may categorize it a little bit different. But based upon this here, for this one NAICS code, for 1 year, they awarded 856 contracts. And these are the companies that won the contract. Now, did you ever imagine that the government will need $11 million of laundry services? So you got all these different projects. Now, again, for Phoebe, who is in the laundromat industry, these projects, the government does not always go directly to laundry services. They might award it under a larger umbrella. They might award it under facilities management. They might award it under operations and maintenance. So it's a different NAICS code that might have to do with laundry, to do laundry services itself. But specifically only towards laundry services is 856 opportunities. And if we come down to the year, let's come down to the year here, we will see in terms of how much, um, let's come down to the year. So this is the year here. We're going to change it from month. We're going to change it to years. And, but you can see that there's all these different contract, and we're going to change it to year. So we can get a total number for the year. So they awarded $64 million in laundry services for fiscal year 2023. So that gives you a little bit of understanding. Okay, there are $64 million of opportunities for laundry services at the federal level. Now, there's one federal, right? We're talking about, there's a lot of other agencies out there. There's 50 states, they need laundry services. There's also 3,000 counties. And there's about 36,000 cities and townships out there. All together, whether you're talking about municipalities and agencies and so forth, you're talking about over 85,000 type of agencies out there, and they all need some type of laundry services. Now, they might be contracting with some of the big service providers, or you can actually go and bid on some of these projects itself. So this is one niche market. And it's a $64 million niche market. Now, if you are brand new in the government market, 64 million is not a lot of opportunities. So it may not necessarily be the first niche you consider. Now, if you're existing, if you're already doing laundry services, then yeah, this is a good place to start. So let's look at another. Someone put in their real estate or hardware merchant. Okay, let's look at, since we looked at a service, let's look at hardware merchant here. 423,710. Okay, so I'm going to reset this here. I'm going to come and reset this here. And then I'm going to check 2023. Again, I just want one fiscal year. I'm going to come back down to NAICS code. I'm going to put in here, take that out. I'm going to go down to your NAICS code. I think parole, you said 423,710. So I'm going to come down to 423 and 710. So hardware merchant. Now there's two things you want to consider as it relates to this here. And so when it comes to products, there's 3 layers you have to consider. Let me put notes in here. So the first layer you have to consider, is the manufacturer's layer, right? So that's the first layer. The second layer is the wholesale. And then the third layer is retail. So when you're selling products, you have to look at all 3 layers. You cannot just look at wholesale. You have to look at this, because the same product is being bought at a manufacturing level, being bought at the wholesale level, and being bought at the retail level. So you have to consider all 3. So coming back to this here, so we're going to check specifically hardware merchant wholesaler. But then we also want to check other hardware as well, right? Because we don't just want to be limited. So I'm going to put in here hardware and to see if I can find at the retail level and at the manufacturing level. Because we got the wholesale now. I need to find the other 2. Now, most products have the 3 tiers I'm talking about. The manufacturing tier, the retail, and the wholesale. So now I'm looking at the manufacturing. It is 332,510. So you definitely want to check that as well. And then you want to check the retail, 444, 130. So for parole, or I think it's parole, I think Parul. I'm going to pronounce it, but excuse me if I got it wrong. So for parole, you have three main NAICS code for your hardware. So you want to check the retail stores, the wholesale, and the manufacturing level. Because the government, when they buy a contracting officer, they really don't know the difference, right? Some of them do, but some of them, they don't know the difference between the manufacturing level, the wholesale level, or the retail level. Or they just say, hey, I need this product. That's all they're gonna say. So based upon these three NAICS code, I'm going to come and see how much was awarded for hardware goods. And it's pulling it up right now for us. Now the system is a little sluggish today, so hopefully it runs better in a little bit here. All right, so they awarded 258 258,000 contracts last year for 2023. So now, okay, there seems to be a lot of contracts. And if you come down here, GE won a $28 million contract. If we come over here, right? Oops, didn't mean to do that. If we scroll over here, this is for aircraft frames. So this is for compressor. So you kind of see what it is that they're buying here. Now, again, this is still very high level. Some of it gives you a little bit detail, but not all of it gives you at the level of detail that you might need to better understand this niche market here. You can see a lot of hardware related to aviation, aerospace. So if you are a hardware type of company, parole, you definitely want to get into the aviation and the automotive side of hardware, not necessarily the home and the household side of hardware. You want to get into the aviation, aerospace side of hardware and the automotive side of hardware, because it shouldn't matter what niche you're in, right? If you can sell, let's assume you can sell doors and windows and doorknobs and tools and different things like that. You can absolutely sell it to the government and sell other products to the government as well. But let's come down to the total amount, because now we have 258 opportunities that was awarded last year. Let's come down to uh, who awarded the most contract. DoD awarded the most contract. They awarded 469 million. So DoD is going to be one of your main agencies that you're going to focus on. But let's look at in terms of the total for the year. So we're going to look at the total for the year so we can kind of see. So a total of $699 million of hardware goods and services, or more so goods, because this is product. So about almost 700 million in terms of products related to hardware was sold to the government last year. Now, for what you're talking about here, this is because you're talking about from a manufacturer, you're talking about from a wholesale and retail perspective related to hardware. Now, the government buys specific NAICS code as well, because this is just a broad umbrella NAICS code. We also want to come back here, right? I'm going to remove these here. And I'm going to put in keywords, different type of hardware products, right? So for example, tools. So I'm going to just put the word tool in here. So hand and edge manufacturing, saw blade, hand tool. So you can actually, depending on the niche you're in, you actually can say, okay, hey, how much of this here? Let me look at some of these metal and All these are related to some type of hardware stuff, right? And then now I've checked, a few of these NAICS code. I can actually come in here and I want to go to. So if I put in just the word tool, there's lots of different things in here. And I want to say, okay, how much did the government award based upon these things here? And then you just come in here and hit submit. So you have to do a little bit more research as it relates to hardware itself. Because there's different subsets of niche markets within hardware. Okay, we have someone says they're joining us from China. There's some things to consider. Now, there are some things if you're selling products, there are some limitations of where it's manufactured. So we'll talk about that in 1 second. So for tools, they awarded 97,000 tool contracts last year. And if you look through this here, you can see DoD is awarded the most, right? And if you come down further, down to years, $447 million. So now you can say, okay, now I know exactly how much they're awarding, and I can focus on this niche here. If they're not awarding in the hundreds of millions, you probably want to go with a different niche because there's not enough purchasing. You want to go with a niche that's hundreds of millions. That's the ideal way to start and identifying which niche is ideal to start with. So that's really how you find a niche, right? So we've been looking at products. Let's go back to services. And so I'm gonna go to a service. Let's see here. Someone said 501710 is one of the NAICS code. Someone said 501612, human resource consulting. Okay, so let's look at human resource consulting here. So I'm going to 541. All the 5454 are services. So we're gonna go to 54. Again, their database system is a little sluggish today. So sometime because there's billions and billions of data points in here, sometimes it's their system gets a little slow. So we just have to be a little patient while they're doing this here. Okay. So 5417, I think it was 541612. So let's go to 612. So this is it right here. And I'm going to search this one HR NAICS code here. So while this is polling, let me talk about some as it relates to products. There are some specific challenges if you're selling products in the government market, and you definitely need to be aware of these things here. So the first thing you need to be aware of is what's called TAA. TAA stands for Trade Agreement Act. Trade Agreement Act is where the United States have a free trade agreement act with certain countries, and some countries do not participate in the trade agreement act, meaning that they're willing to abide by certain manufacturing standards, they're willing to abide by certain market conditions and so forth. And so if a company is not on the list of countries, then you cannot sell it to the federal government. So for example, I'm going to come down here, right? A lot of products is manufactured in China. But if we come down here, guess what? China is not on here. So if you're buying um, cell phones from China and you want to sell it to the government, the federal government will not buy it. You can sell it, but if they find out, they're going to return it to you, or they might actually fine you, because you should know that products from China cannot be sold to the federal government. Now, there are some things that is permitted, but most things, there's some exemptions, right? But most things, like for example, during COVID, we needed masks, we needed gloves, we needed lots of different things for healthcare purposes. And at that time, they didn't care where it was manufactured. So certain things during different times, there was different rules. But under normal situation, if you were buying certain products from certain countries, let's look at another example. There's a lot of products that is manufactured in Bangladesh. Guess what? You can sell it to the federal government because they're part of the Trade Agreement Act. Come down here. Lots of different goods and is being manufactured in Vietnam. Guess what? Vietnam is not on the Trade Agreement Act. So you cannot sell most products from Vietnam to the federal government. Now, if you have products from Vietnam, of course, you can sell it to the commercial market. You can even sell it to some state and counties. As long as they're not using federal money, you can sell it to state and counties, because they don't have the same, they have their own rules and regulations. Most states and counties don't have the same trade agreement, such as the federal government itself. So this doesn't necessarily apply to all agencies, but for all federal agencies or for state counties that receive federal funding, they cannot buy goods from countries and that's not part of the Trade Agreement Act. Now, there's a few other consideration. If you are buying clothing or textile, um, there's some other things you have to consider, right? So, Buy American Act says that some of the things that anything that you buy, you're going to sell it to the federal government. There has to be a level of work that is final manufactured in the United States. So, which they call domestic, right? So there's certain things that has to be final manufactured in the United States. Here, they actually say that the cost of components mined, produced, or manufactured in the US is more than 60%. So they actually say 60% of it has to be done in or mined or produced in the United States. So this is true for textiles, right? So there's lots of different rules. So you want to check into that. Now, if you are a company that you want to export to other countries, you want to be familiar with this rule here. It's called ITAR, the International Traffic in Arms Regulation. Now, you might say, hey, I have a software company and I'm selling my software to Iran or to North Korea or to some countries which the US deemed as an enemy state. You cannot sell what, and you're not saying it's not munition. It is not meant for warfare. Even though it's not meant for warfare, if it is a product that can be used for warfare purposes, then it may fall under ITAR. and you cannot export it to certain countries. So you have to check these things here before you sell certain products or services to other countries as well. And you can potentially get fined, or you can get in imprisonment, right? Up to 10 years in prison. No amount of money is worth 10 years in prison, right? Your freedom is not worth that. So, regulations, Buy American Act, ITARs, Trade Agreement Act, and there's some other lesser known regulations out there, but these are some of the key ones that if you're in the product, or if you have certain type of services that may be can or software that can be deemed utilized for enemy countries, then you definitely want to be cautious of it. So we looked at products, we look at services. Let's spend one more second to look at services. So what we did was we looked at this here, right? Because this was pulling up when we shifted gears. So for this NAICS code, they awarded 1,402 contracts. Look at this one here, 161 million. So lots of money is being awarded in terms of dollar amount. So this is for sexual harassment. This is for recruiting and hiring, personnel, payroll benefits, employment training services, and transitions assistance. So some big contracts in here. I mean, 12 million, 86 million, 400, well, actually here, 113 million. And so a lot of big contracts under this NAICS code here for HR consulting services. Now, if you're on HR, a more niche service, you want to dig a little deeper too, right? So I'm going to do one more thing. So I'm going to go here, and what we do is we looked at HR. I want to look at another niche. And I want to look at another niche that could fall under training, right? So I'm going to look at, they might call it leadership training. They might call it administrative support. They might be different things that's being used. And all this here falls under HR as well. So this is how you find a niche. And again, their site is a little sluggish. So in fact, let me refresh their page here and see if it goes faster. Oops. So come in here. Oh, it's faster now. So computer training, professional management development training, right? So this is another one of your NAICS code. Apprenticeship training, but I would say this one is a better fit here. So 611430. So for, I think the person that said that they're in HR, you also definitely want to dig deeper into 611430. So let's see how much they awarded in here. Now, my guess is that there's going to be a lot more awards under this NAICS code than the last NAICS code that we looked at. So while this is pulling up, let's go back to our agenda. So we've looked at lots of different niche markets, right? And so now I'm going to shift gears a little bit. I'm going to look at one or two examples of companies that have been very successful in doing products. And then we'll also look at companies that have been very successful as related to services. So our NAICS code 611430. So they awarded 4,880 contracts. One project was for 194 million. And so you can see all these different companies here. E-learning management system, mobile training teams, end user sustainment training, strengthening local governance and security. So lots of different type. So you have multiple NAICS code for your niche industry. And HR is just one of the umbrella NAICS code, but there's some other sub NAICS code as well. Now, some of you may ask, okay, Abe, how many NAICS code is ideal? As many as you can find. That's the best answer. Now, in general, you might want to you probably need about 15 NAICS code to represent your company, your brand. You need about 15 NAICS code. So, for example, I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna search. We have some templates that we created here, and where's my search button? I am here. Capability statement. So this is a capability statement. Now, if you come in here, you can see that this company here, we put a lot of different NAICS code for them, right? Employment staffing, temporary help services, administrative management, HR, marketing, administrative, facility, temporary staffing. So if you're in the HR industry, there's a lot of other NAICS code. Now, this company, they're doing, they go beyond just, people, right? They're doing landscaping, collection, airport. They're doing other different things here. But you can see that they have about 20, a little bit over 20 NAICS code here. So about 15, maybe 20. But what you don't want is you don't want to do computer services, and you do not want to do funeral services, right? Because they're too far apart from each other. You want to list your NAICS code that is closely related, not too far apart. So let's come back. And so this is, if we come down to the total number of years in terms of, for this NAICS code for 1 year, let's look at 1 year. Oops. It will tell us how much was awarded under 1 year for this one NAICS code here, 601-430. And while this is pulling up, I'm going to queue up the next part of what we're going to be talking about. We're going to look at an example company. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to look at a company called Atlantic Diving Supply. Now, with a company named Atlantic Diving Supply, if you have to guess, what do you think they sell, right? If you have to guess, what is it that they sell? So for 611-430, it was $1.1 billion. So there's a lot of money in this niche market. So absolutely, you want to, this is a good niche to be in. So let's, so Atlantic Diving Supply. If you have to guess, they sell diving supply, right? In fact, this is exactly how they started in the government market. But if you go into who they are, they've rebranded themselves as ADS, Atlantic Diving Supply, but they're not going by this company name anymore. In the government market, they're just ADS. So if we go to their website, and I want you to read through the story. If you go and read through the company history, and this is exactly it, right? The father used to own Luke Hillier, son of the founder, right? And he came and took over the company. But the father, when he started the company, they were selling diving equipment to the Navy and the Marines and to the government in those perspective. And he said, if we can side, right? They started off as a diving shop. That's what they started with. And they said, if we can sell that, maybe we can sell more. Brought a vision greater than being a diving shop. So now if we come back to their website and we go into their suppliers, they have all these different products now. In fact, they have about close to 4,000 manufacturers that they represent. So I'm just going to randomly choose a company that I have no idea. Excella. I have no idea what this is. So they sell some type of fitness test kit. Now, this is probably specifically around nutrition and fitness for getting the warrior into fighting shape. So they might tailor this specifically for that. If we come back to supplier, I'm going to go into Avon Protection, right? This is not the Avon cosmetic company. This is Avon, the protection company. So they sell some type of mask, some type of, so this is some type of breathing component attached to the mask. Yep. So this company, they manufacture these specialized masks. These companies, most of them don't know how to sell to the government. But what they do know is they do know that they need someone that knows how to sell to the government. And that's what this is for. So what ADS have done is they're saying, hey, we want to sell your products in the government market. And Avon Protection says, let's enter into an agreement and you can represent our products to the government. So this is a very specific strategy of how you set up your business. Now, let me give you another example of, now, if you're saying, okay, Abe, where do I start? I want to sell products, but where do I start? I don't have time to, like ADS, right? In fact, let's pull up ADS in terms of how much contracts they won. So just so you guys can kind of see that. So I'm going to check all fiscal year. And recipient, I'm going to put in here ADS, or Atlantic Diving Supply. And we'll pull them up. So while this is pulling up, again, because this takes a second to get there, I'm going to give you a example, right? So if you want to do hardware, IT hardware, you can go to Dell.com and you can go to here and you can say, okay, you know what? You can get all the way down to the bottom, right? If you go to all the way to the bottom, you can go and become a reseller for Dell products. So you can say, hey, let me be a reseller for Dell, and you can enter into their partner program and so forth. And you can say, hey, let me set up a partnership with Dell, and then you can go and sell the products to the government, because the government buys Dell laptop, Dell computers and stuff like that. So this is one way. And then you have to set up one relationship after another relationship after another relationship after another relationship. That may not always be the best strategy. If you're new in the government market, you may not have time to go and sign up 300 manufacturers so that you can represent the products in the government market. That takes too much time. So what you want to do is you want to go to a master distributor, somebody that is in the business of wholesaling manufacturers products to people like you, who's going to retail it to the government. Remember, I talked about there's 3 layers, right? In the government market, there's 3 layers. You get the manufacturer, you get the wholesaler, and you get the retailer. If you're going to go directly to the manufacturer, you have to set up one account at a time. Since you're going to be selling to the government, you're considered more of a retailer, right? So you're selling direct to the end user. If you're selling direct to the end user, you can be a manufacturer, a wholesaler, or a retailer. But for many of you, you're selling to the government, you're going to be more of a retailer. and you're going to want to work with a wholesaler, because the wholesaler, what they've done is they've gone and built a relationship with thousands of manufacturers already. And then all you have to do is build a relationship with a wholesaler. And then you instantly have access to thousands of products. This is a very, very important strategy here. So I'm gonna give you an example. So instead of going to Dell, setting up a relationship with Dell, you want to go to a wholesaler. IT, I might just give you an example. Hardware wholesale. And there's lots and lots of different wholesale companies out there, right? And you just have to see which one you want to work with. Now, there is one, I'm going to give you a shortcut. Ingram Micro. So Ingram Micro, they already have a whole bunch of products, and you just need to come in here again, right? You want to come in here. You're not a supplier, you are a customer. Vendors, you're not a vendor, you're a customer. Well, actually, let's look at this here. Supplier is, let's look at this here. Be part of the bigger page, you become Ingram Micro supplier. Okay, let's see how they define this here. A supplier relationship includes the delivered goods, services consumed by Ingram Micro for the perpetuation of the business. So they're saying that this is something that they will use for themselves. So this is maybe not, let's look at vendor. For vendor growing their current business and driving new opportunities. Okay, so really you're a vendor to Ingram Micro. So you click on here, become a partner, and you want to choose that you want to be a vendor, and then you set up a partnership with them, because they already have a whole bunch of products. So they have cloud services, they have computer parts, they already have a relationship with Dell. So if you come to their sites, you can see that they have all these relationship already. Look at this here. They have 161,000 products, manufacturers that they're working with. And then all you have to do is set up a relationship with them. Now, if you are not in the hardware or in the computer hardware, and you want to look for, you want to use these two terminologies here. Sometimes they call it private label, or they call it white label. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to put in here medical equipment private label. So if you want to sell medical equipment, medical supplies, and you can just come in here and look at some of these here. And here's what this means here. The manufacturer is the manufacturer. What they're going to do is they're going to put your company name and put your label on there. That's really what this is. Now, why is this why is this here a advantage to you? If you're buying an existing product, that product already has a price on it. The manufacturer established a retail price and a wholesale price on there. You're buying at the wholesale price and you're selling to the government at the retail price. You have no control in the price. But when you do a private label, it's considered that you are the manufacturer, even though you didn't do the metal fabrication, even though you didn't buy the raw material and made it yourself. In a private label, is treated as if you are the manufacturer. And in that case, you can sell it for any price you want. Let me say that again. If you private label a product, you will have your own um, national stock number on it, your own label, your own name on there. And because it's your own private label, you can sell it for any amount you want to anyone because it's your product. So you have the right to sell it for any amount. If you're buying it and it's somebody else's name on there, you're limited to what you can do with that. If you're buying it and it has your name on there, you can do however you want. You can wholesale it to somebody else and let them sell it, or you can sell it directly to the government and charge them whatever price you want. Now, keep in mind, there's other products out there, so you still want to be competitive, but that you're not limited with a manufacturer suggested retail price. So you can come in here, and another is you can put in here distributor. So you come in here and like Medline, they have a lot of products, right? So if you come to Medline, medical equipment, medical supplies, look at this here. They have 335,000 medical products, 28 million square foot of warehousing. Guess what? This is your warehousing now. These are your products now. These are your employees. And you're a one-man operation. And they will ship it in one day on your behalf to your end customer. So if you partner with Medline, you can come in here and you say, okay, what is it that I'm looking for? And you can say, let's put in here mask, right? Now you can't see the pricing because you have to log in to see the pricing. So all of these different products, you can sell these products to the government. So some of the, because they partner with Cardinal Health, right? They themselves as Medline, they manufacture their own products as well, but they manufacture other people's products, preset medical products, right? This is how you quickly get millions of warehouse space, thousands of employees, and hundreds of thousands of products without you having to set up one product at a time. So this saves you a lot of time. When you're going to the government market, you're trying to find a niche. Every single niche industry has some type of wholesalers, distributors out there that will sell their products to you so that you go directly to the government. You again do not have to be the manufacturer. Now if you created something yourself, then you want to work with a manufacturer to produce it. Now, for all of you who's in the service industry, if you're in the service industry, it could, you can actually go and team with other companies. So let's talk about services in a quick example here. So we've been talking about products. Let's talk about services. So if you are, I'm going to use landscaping. I think one or two of you guys are in the landscaping industry. So I'm going to go with landscaping. And I'm going to put landscaping near me. So these are landscaping companies, and I'm just going to choose one company. Amazing Grace Lawns. And so this is, I assume this is the owner. He's mowed over 2,355 lawns. So he's got good reviews, almost all 5 stars. And I don't own a lawn machine, a lawnmower. I don't own any trimmers, nothing. But I can start a lawn care business. Why? Because Amazing Grace Lawns, they own the lawnmower, they own the equipment, they have the truck, they have the ability to do the work. I just need to go and set up a relationship with Amazing Grace, and then I can start my own lawn care business in the government marketplace. But again, it starts off with how much did the government buy in lawn care services? And if there's enough money, then yes, that's how you start. Now, let me just kind of give you an example. The Department of Defense have 551,000 facilities worldwide. They're one of the largest property owners in the world, just the DoD. And I'm not talking about cities and counties and all these other, states and so forth, all their facilities. Just DoD alone has over 550,000 facilities. All of them needs lawn care services. Someone has to cut the trees. Someone has to mow the grass. Someone has to trim the edges. Someone has to fertilize the lawn, right? Every government agency needs lawn care services. So my point is there's a lot of money in this one niche market. You want to enter into a teaming relationship with Amazing Grace. Now, here's the beautiful thing about in a teaming relationship. In a teaming relationship, you do not need to have your own past performances. You can use his 2,355 lawns that he's cut as your past performances. Now, you want to, in a perfect world, right? You want to find someone that has commercial experience, because you don't just want somebody that just will do residential, because you're dealing with industrial buildings, and you're dealing with government facilities. So you're looking for more, someone who is more in the commercial side of the lawn care business. So this is, now I have heard other people teach this technique. They call it middleman. Learn the middleman technique. I don't call it middleman because the government does not like that terminology. I don't call it broker, because as a middleman or as a broker, you add very little value, and you can actually get in trouble by being a middleman. What I'm talking about is you being a teaming partner with somebody where you actually add value, and the government, they're actually happy that you have a teaming partner that have experience. So very different from being a middleman. Being a middleman is you're just a middleman. You add very little value to the process, and you're just, sometimes the government calls it a you being a broker. They don't like middleman. They don't like broker. So never, when you're meeting contracting officers, say, "Oh yeah, I'm a middleman." Never do that, because you could potentially get protested if you win a contract, or the contract officer will not want to work with you. What you want to say is, we are a landscaping company, and our team of experts have 30 years of experience. Why? Because you're talking about your teaming partners, not just yours, right? You might only be in the industry for 1 year, 2 years, or something like that, but your team have 30 years of experience. Now, teaming is normal in the government market. There's nothing wrong with teaming. Being a distributor for a manufacturer, there's nothing wrong with that. That's normal in the government market. So all these things are normal. And so definitely never be a middleman, never be a broker, be a teaming partner. That's the correct way to look at this, sir. And so if anybody's teaching you middleman, make sure that they clarify. In fact, just don't even use those terms. Just remove those terminology from your vocabulary, because it will get you in trouble. Never talk about broker. Never talk about being a, now I'm not talking about a real estate broker, right? Because that terminology is positive in that situation. But a broker, in the sense of government contracting, has a negative connotation to it, and is frowned upon, and it potentially is actually violates certain federal regulations. So you want to set yourself up as a business that utilizes subcontractors and teaming partners. And that's how you properly set yourself up. So with that, let's pause and let's see if we have some specific questions that I can answer. So we looked at the few examples. I think we've covered pretty much everything in here. Now let's talk about, let's make a decision, right? Which of these here is better long-term? Product or services, right? And we looked at Atlantic Diving Supply. Look at this here, right? They won a whole bunch of contracts. And let's come and look at the, in terms of years here. So let's look at years. And you can see how much they won. So they won a lot of projects. So they won so they're winning about $4.6 billion every year. Well, they've been growing. This is called the Verizon growth. Remember, their sons took over the company from the father. And so in 2008, because this USA spending only goes back to 2008. So they did 345 million and they've been growing, right? Every year, been growing. So now last year they did $4.6 billion. So yes, you can go and sell products and make a lot of money and be like ADS. But short term, I would say if you have to decide which is the best for short term, my suggestion is short term is sell products. Why? Because products does not require past performance, and products does not require you to have three references which is tied to past performance. And then products, it's easy. You don't have to write a proposal. Most of the time, products is just a quote, meaning it's an easy piece of paper. And most of the time, you just fill in a few pages and you're done. So product is easier to start. One is no proposal, and two, no past performance required. Now, if you're going after the big IDIQ for products, yes, you need past performances. But for $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, most of the time it's just 2-3 pieces of paper, fill in the blanks, and you're done. So product is easy for short term. But products, your cap in terms of how much margins you can make, because products is a commodity. And when you're dealing with commodity, pricing is usually the most important factor. And because pricing is the most important factor, you're going to make less margins. So the question is, which is better long term? Long term, services are usually better. You're going to have better net profit if you do services. If your products, you're still gonna make profit, but your profit is going to be a lot lower than if you're in the service industry. So if you're deciding between the two, you might start off as a product company, eventually add services to it, or you might, now for some of you, you only want to do services, and because that's what you know. But if you're not sure between the two, I would say start with products, expand to services. So let's address some questions in here. So let me go through here. Can freelancer who work for you be from outside the country? So Nathan asked the question, can you use freelancers, from Upwork or from Fiverr or from, doesn't matter where. Or you might know somebody overseas. The answer is yes and no. And let me clarify that a little bit. So can you use freelancers, or really you just call them consultants? Can you use consultants from outside of the United States? The general answer is yes, you can. But there are some projects that is sensitive in nature, and you cannot in those type of situations. The regulations will typically tell you, and what they call is, what you're going to see is you're going to see these terminologies. And I'm going to put it in here so that you guys can see. Facility clearance, or personnel clearance, right? Now, personnel clearance has to do with secret top secret. Oop, got two extra E here. Top secret. And in the United Nations, they call it cosmic clearance. You guys know what cosmic clearance is? Cosmic clearance means if you have this cosmic clearance, you will know there's aliens out there. Now, I have my own personal opinions about if there's aliens out there or not. I'm not going to share it with you. Now, if you have a private conversation with you, I will share with you my personal opinion whether there's aliens out there or not. But if you have cosmic clearance, that is considered top secret, and they will tell you if there's aliens out there or not. But that's another story. So can you use somebody overseas? The answer is yes, as long as none of these things are required, and it is the person does not have to be on location. So if because remote work is remote work. Now let's assume you're using someone to develop a software that might be based out of Romania, or that might be based out of Russia, or might be based out of any other countries. The government considers certain countries enemy states, so just keep that in mind. And so if somebody is in a country that is considered a hostile nation to the United States, you probably don't want to use someone from those countries. And they might be posing, they might be a spy, right? They might be posing as a freelancer working for your company with the goal of trying to get into the government. So you want to be careful. Now, there are some things that doesn't matter. For example, if somebody is doing graphic design for you, if somebody is creating a video for you, right? A video, it's hard to embed viruses on a video because an MP4 or a WAV file or a video that's on YouTube, there's it's extremely rare, or I've never heard of it where someone made a video and there's certain virus attached to the videos. That's so there's certain things that doesn't require a lot of caution. But if you're doing software development, people have built backend doors to certain type of software, so you absolutely want to be careful in terms of who you use internationally. But the answer is yes, but maybe no. Okay, I think with that, let me see if there's any other questions. That we're going to go to the free giveaway here. Someone, I think, is it Tam or Tom? I think it's Tam. She asked about, are there accounting and auditing services? Of course there are, right? So you can use any tools out there. Now, GovGenie is a tool that I recommend all of you guys should sign up for. This is a tool that we help create. So govgenie.com, and you can sign up to use it today. And there's no cost to get started on it. And you can start using GovGenie you get all the bells and whistles to use GovGenie. So are there any audit opportunities out there? The answer is yes. There's lots of opportunities out there. So if you come in here, so I'm going to put in here accounting, because audits is a component of accounting. So let's see here. There's about 338 projects that's out there right now. So medical, dental coding, auditing, and data entry services. So this is an opportunity. Army Financial Improvement Program Support Services. So this is another related to that there. But think about, and when you're saying audit, this is, let me give you a better definition of audits. Every single government contracts, every contract that's put out there, there is a financial component to that. it has to be, there has to be a reconciliation. There has to be some type of audit. There has to be some type of compliance with it. Money, the largest organization that can print money is the government itself. And when you're dealing with money, all of that needs some type of accounting and some type of audits and so forth. So auditing and financial services is big in the government market. Some other things that they need is they need related to auditing and financial services is lots of cities and townships and federal agencies. They collect taxes and they have to invest those taxes. Someone has to manage that money. Someone has to audit those financials and those money. And so, yeah, so audits is absolutely opportunities out there. So that's a good niche to actually start off as well. So with that, we are at the end here. We're going to do a quick giveaway. And let me come back to our giveaway here. So our giveaway for all of you joining us is this here. And the way you get to do the giveaway is first is all we ask back to be included in the giveaway is to sign up on our newsletter. We send out newsletter about once or twice a month, with news and activities and events of the things that we're doing. So all we ask is you come to our blog site and just put in your first name, last name, and email. We're not gonna spam you or anything like that. We're just gonna send you newsletter, tips, events, different things that's happening. So just come in here and sign up for the newsletter. I'm gonna put this in the chat, or my producer will put our blog site in the chat. And all we ask is for you to sign up to be part of our newsletter. But we're gonna give away to those that are in our newsletter. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna give away this course here, When Millions in Contract Without Having to Write Complex Proposal. And this course here will take you through, there's about 11 and a half hours of videos, step-by-step course. We talk about email marketing, how to find opportunities, capability statement samples, teaming agreements, registration guides, small business certification, lots and lots of different stuff. And all the content is here. So this is a great way to scale your business. Even if you're new, this is perfect. If you're already existing, this is even better because this allows you to give you a lot of information in a very short period of time so that you can quickly scale your business here. So how do you get this course? We're going to do the giveaway. So in the chat, I want you to say, yes, I'm signed up for the newsletter. So all you have to put the word yes, and then I want you to put a number. I want you to put a number into the chat. And I'm going to think of a number between 1 and 200. I'm going to think of a number between 1 and 200. And the person that is the closest to it gets the free giveaway, which is the free giveaway. The free giveaway is this course. So go ahead at this time here. I'm going to share my screen again. So this is a giveaway. This course here is, we sell for about $2,000, but we're giving to you guys, to one person at no cost. So $1,997 is yours, no cost, just for hanging out with us on our podcast. So if you already sign up as a newsletter member, or if you haven't signed up, I'll take your word for it. Just put in there yes, and then go and sign up, at sometime later on today, and that's fine. So between 1 and 200, last call. So if you want to be part of the giveaway, now if we've been giving away for a few months now. So if you are one of the winners and you win again, that's fine. You can gift it to a friend, somebody who owns a business. Just say, hey, you know what? I won this government contracting course, and as my friend, I want to give this course to you, and let them let them enroll. Okay, so it's time to reveal my number. Some of you guys have put your number, so I'm going to put my number. So let's reveal my number. Whoever is the closest. So my number is 121. So Sayu, all right, congratulations. I think you are the closest. 125, you're 4 off. I don't see anybody else closer than that. So Sayu, the way you claim it is you send an email to our producer, info@govcontractors.org, with the subject line, free course winner, and she will send you the information on how to get your free course. No obligation, no nothing, absolutely no catch to it, just for hanging out with us every Wednesday and sign up for the newsletter. Well, there is one catch, right? You have to sign up for the newsletter. That's outside of that, you're good. Well, it's been fun hanging out with all of you. Join us next week. We got some really cool stuff we're going to talk about next week. Next week, we're going to actually, I'm going to share with you guys. So next week, we're going to talk about subcontracting for success. That's what we're going to be talking about. Subcontracting for success. And I'm going to share with you and teach you some very specific strategies on how to be a successful government contractor to larger companies, why that's important. We'll look at a few case studies, a few other companies. We're going to look at the 8D program. Many of you guys have heard of the 8A program. We're going to look at the 8D program and what that is. And we're going to cover all of this here. So join us next week for Subcontracting for Success, Wednesday, 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. With that, thanks for hanging out with me. Again, my name is Abraham. Been a joy hanging out with all of you. If you have other questions, or just email it to us, and we will be more than happy to engage you and help you through this process here. Take care, everybody. Have a good one.